Forever United TV Live, welcome back everybody. This evening's show we are talking about Mainoo's situation, what is happening there, which of Manchester United's injured players are definitely going to be back on the pitch or available to go on the pitch against Nottingham Forest on Tuesday night. But we're starting the show, the top story is Manchester United's most important target this summer. We all know about the goalkeeper, we all know about the forward and the striker. They are key elements of course and a staple. But the one position that Ruben Amorim wants nailed down and sorted for his system and what he wants formation-wise and what he wants from his players is that right wing-back berth. I think Ahmad can be a role, can do a role there. I really do. But there's a name that keeps on popping up in every single debate, in every single column and reports, and that is one of Roger Fernandes. He was alongside Giovanni Quenda when we were talking about Quenda possibly signing on the dotted line for Manchester United. All of this going on right now with Manchester United, and the report that I did last night on Roger Fernandes as well, when we were talking about someone who was speaking to someone inside at Carrington, how Manchester United's recruitment was going this summer. Very, very key. And then again, we've got reports coming from the Portugal side that Ruben Amorim wants to throw everything at Roger Fernandes. He's wanted by a few different clubs. He is that good of a player that United don't want to miss out on him. He's a player that they feel they can get at the right price. He's the right age. He's got the right experience. He can play defensive. He can play attack. He can play left. He can play right. He's that versatile, energetic and robust player that Ruben Amorim wants. We're going to get into details about that. Why that right wing back is so important. It's just as important as the left wing back, and we know that we've got that settled now in Patrick Dorgu. Going forward, that's how United will operate. We know the ins and outs of the recruitment side of things, but why Roger Fernandes? Why is he the player that Ruben Amorim wants? We talked earlier on in the show this morning about Manchester United knowing exactly what they're getting player-wise from Victor Osimhen. An outstanding goal scorer who is dynamic, versatile, very, very quick, very strong, very direct, and is one of the best finishers out there. We know that. But United are recruiting into the player, into the characteristics, into the lifestyle, into everything else. And this is what is going to happen with every single target that Manchester United look at. I remember talking about Patrick Dorgu, for instance, a year before he signed. The shows are there to prove it. I've done plenty of coverage on Patrick Dorgu on different shows and reports that I've just read and dug up. And then lo and behold, first chance that we get under Ruben Amorim, he's in. He's done. And Manchester United have him signed. This was a player that the club were looking at before. So again, it leads into that department of Manchester United and this whole myth of this club being absolutely useless. These are not just Ruben Amorim signings. Yes, he is giving his go-ahead to certain deals, but this club was doing work before all of this new structure came into place, and it was being ignored. And that's the main point in all of this. Who was there making them decisions when these scouts were bringing players in that now other Premier League clubs are taking? Who was in charge of it all? It was the coaches, the managers, the people that didn't know enough about football, trying to get more out of them and being shafted by this football club. That's what it was. But all of a sudden, these deals seem a lot simpler. We're understanding the lingo coming out of the club. We've got a half of ownership model, well, a third of an ownership model that is actually communicating, telling us what's actually going on. We're finding a lot more out from Manchester United, the club, and what is going to be happening bit by bit as we go forward now into the unknown. Because it is the unknown, because we've never operated or worked like this. Roger Fernandes is one of them players that Manchester United would have been looking at for a long time, and we just haven't picked up on it because he wasn't that big name and it wasn't spoken about in Manchester United quarters. It was brought up by the scouts and then just lost in paperwork and wherever because nobody wanted to talk about it because it wasn't big enough. It wasn't United. It wasn't that type of signing. All of these players that Manchester United are finding out have probably been in the scouting system for years. And for years, I have done it. I just didn't think we were that useless at running at management level until everything has been outed over the last few months since Ineos came in. I just didn't expect Manchester United to be that useless in that bigger department in the football club. Clearly are. But I've slagged off and criticised the scouting system. I'm like, where are Manchester United scouts? What's going on? Apparently we've got 250 of them in operation. How are we not finding these players? What is going on with Manchester United? Well, we're finding out now that they were doing their jobs. And the reports are coming out and being dug out from past years about players that are actually on Manchester United's books or scouted and brought up to the people in power at the club. And then what happens next? We don't know. The players are told no. It was either the manager at the time or he was convinced by the way Manchester United were working, whoever it was in the dugout, that this was the right way to go. Look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said it himself when he recommended the likes of Haaland to Manchester United. You get him now, you get him now. No, it didn't happen. Only now, after years and years and years of Manchester United got football people in power at the football club, and the players that are coming in are players. This is what we were missing out on. These are the players that we have been spending a fortune on just 5 years younger. That's where we're at right now. That's the situation. Roger Fernandes is 19. We know the profile. We know what he is on the pitch. We know what he does. His numbers are just as good as what Giovanni Quenda's numbers are. And he's at Braga. Yes, you can ring up the Portuguese league links. Braga, again, another former club of Ruben Amorim. And you can say that this is all down to Ruben. Well, it's not. And that would be a disrespect to the recruitment side and the scouts of Manchester United. Yes, they may have gone into an overtime mode and gone into more detail in scouting this player simply because Ruben wants a wing back. He will always have been on the radar and Manchester United would have known about him. And now we've got people in place like Christopher Vival who can just fast forward these deals and move things into place. Just likewise, Jason Wilcox, like we've spoken about aplenty as well in what his role is as a technical director at the club right now. All of these together are people that know exactly what buttons to press and how to get things moving along. And United's only issue is the budget and the competition. Now, the Premier League have just announced, or FIFA have just announced, whoever it is just announced. I mean, for God's sake, this Club World Cup has caused a right stink because now the transfer window has been opened up to the likes of Chelsea and Manchester City for an extra 10 days so they can get their players sorted for the Club World Cup. I mean, I don't know how this is operating. Maybe this is explaining a lot of why Manchester City and Chelsea have been so busy going into the next phase, the next phase of this season. As in, City spending how much in January? Chelsea already doing deals now for players coming in. I mean, I feel like they can do it because of the riches and the finances that are coming in from the Club World Cup. I mean, someone's going to earn over 100 million from that. That's absolutely ridiculous. And Chelsea or City have their wits about them. They could be cashing in on this here. And this is a real, I would say, disadvantage to the rest of the Premier League because these two are the two that are actually being brought up against charges in all different areas and are being looked at or investigated at one time or another. And these are the two that are benefiting from this FIFA new competition right now. That's what United are up against. That's the situation we're in right now. We lost Quenda because we didn't have the finances to compete. We haven't got the money. And as much as I say Manchester United need to buy this player, need to buy that player, I've always backed it up and said that Manchester United obviously need to make the finances available first of all. Why the hell do you think we're talking about Manuel Ugarte and Alejandro Garnacho travelling all over the bleeding world just so Manchester United can get more games in Malaysia in another part of a tour that's going to happen right after the season finishes? Because we're desperate for money. We're trying to monetize absolutely everything at the football club. The naming rights for Carrington, going on tours and extra games just to earn more money from pre-season as well. All the players that will definitely leave Manchester United, and for reasons like I've just explained as well, having football people in to do these deals and get them done quickly is why I'm confident that we will get rid of these players. But this is the only thing stopping Manchester United. We've always had the capability. That report last night into Roger Fernandes and where Manchester United are at and what their recruitment is, and they said it, and it was a key line in that statement, which was the neglect of Manchester United's scouting and recruitment system. It's like we've all for years had the wool pulled over our eyes that we weren't doing anything, when really we are doing so much behind the scenes. You only have to read, and people don't want to read. They don't like to dig deep. So I'll do it for you and bring it up on these shows and tell you exactly what's going down. And people don't know about the little things that are going around and everything that's being reported. And there's some interesting bits that I have just been told tonight from someone who has jumped on the scene that I didn't know about. It was been reported a few things on Manchester United's injury situation and a few stories from in and around Carrington. I'll touch on that in a minute, actually, because he's actually direct messaged me a few things just tonight alone. So I'll keep you updated on what I've been told tonight. So that's where we're at right now. People just didn't know. We didn't. But Roger Fernandes and the price that he's going to cost is going to be less than on the books than Patrick Dorgu. That's where United are at. You've got a 20-year-old on one side, a 19-year-old on the other side. You've got academy players backing both of them players up going into the season. And then you can concentrate on other areas of the pitch. Ruben's key positions, we know it, the two wing-backs. Capable centre-backs. Obviously a good goalkeeper, goes without saying. And someone who can score goals. He always needs a good goal scorer. And he's found strikers before. The thing is with United, the expectation level, it's not like Braga, it's not like Sporting. You cannot just find a championship goal scorer and give him the time he needs to bed him in and give him what's necessary to turn him into a beast, which Gyökeres is. We haven't got that time at Manchester United. But the one good thing about that as well is, yes, indeed, Ruben Amorim. And he knows that he hasn't got the time. And he knows that he needs to make big decisions this summer to bring in the right players in different areas. You get your wing-backs sorted. You get a capable centre-forward on the end of them wing-backs, and now Manchester United play. You've got them 2 10s in there as well that have to play a massive role in this system, either dropping back deep or supporting the wing-back coming forward. We've seen elements and snippets of this system working this season with the right players in, but it's been few and far between, and injuries and fallout has derailed Ruben Amorim's first 4 months in charge at Manchester United. But now everybody is coming back. We're starting to see a glimpse of what might be possible, just a tiny little glimpse of what might come for Manchester United going forward, and that, I think, is where most of the fan base is intrigued more than worried, because we know that right now we can't get any worse. The form cannot drop off any worse than what it is, surely. The only way is up. Black Box, great 80s tune. And we can see that little bit of improvement within Manchester United is coming. Roger Fernandes is the most important player on the transfer list for Manchester United to bring in this summer, because it's a position in a well-oiled machine, a cog that needs to be there for everything else to fall into place. This morning, I likened the goalkeeper and the number 9 as a sandwich, basically. They're the 2 pieces of bread, and you need some real good quality bread to squash all of the ingredients of Ruben Amorim's system into place in the middle. So all of the garnish, all of the ingredients, and all of the meat and whatever in the middle is what really, really keeps everything ticking along. The keeper and the number 9 are just holding it together. They're your basics. You need to be in a certain area. You need to be able to stop shots, for God's sake. And you need that natural goal scorer. This system and Ruben's formations need someone who's going to give you 25 goals a season. There is no one at Manchester United who can do that. The only man who can do that doesn't even play at centre-forward, and that's Bruno Fernandes. And that's why he will continuously be on Ruben Amorim's side. Because him, with capable people in this formation, and a goal scorer that can get on the end of what he is creating and be more reliable, should effectively discipline Bruno Fernandes into staying in a certain position and not trying to do too much. That's what is needed. We have got quality all over the pitch. It's like, would you swap Lenny Yoro, Matthias de Ligt, and say Aiden Heaven or Leach Martinez right now for other centre-backs on the planet? You're not that desperate to do it, are you? If you bring in, I mean, I'm happy with Patrick Dorgu. If you're happy with Patrick Dorgu and then maybe Roger Fernandes in the future there, that you're looking there, you're like, okay, right, all right, that's decent setup so far. And you've got Manuel Ugarte, you've got Bruno Fernandes, and you've got whatever else we're bringing in the summer. By the way, that is the next big one, because that's not been talked about as much as the other key positions. It's been 9 goalkeeper, right wing back so far, and obviously the 10s. There is room to work with them, and I think we will get to them as the summer goes in, as we go into the summer, But the key areas are the main driving force behind what Ruben wants, and this is why Roger Fernandes is so important. Look, I could go on forever and a day in my whole explanation as to how I see this breaking down, but for somehow I'm already nearly 15 minutes in of describing what's actually going on at United. Hello, everyone in the chat, is what I meant to say next. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Mods, members, new subscribers, current subscribers, people just listening in. Why have you not subscribed, by the way? If you haven't, subscribe button's right there in front of you. Ding! On it goes. Bell notification is next to it. You take that off as well, and then you get notified, so you're completely up to date with all the information and news going around Manchester United. Get to it, please. And while you're at it, please give the video a like. We're already over 120. I want 300 live likes tonight. And we can do it. We've always managed to get our likes in, haven't we, everyone? So please get liking the video. Get to it, everyone. And let's get into some of these comments and see what people are actually saying. First of all, welcome to the Members Club, AW Carpets and Flooring. Nice one. We've got some traders in the joint tonight. So that's gifted by London. I'm sure we have got a super chat in here as well, haven't we? Oh, hello, look at that. 13 months a member from the man himself, Modern Samurai. Absolute legend. Thank you, one of our best contributors on the channel over the years. Now 13 months a member himself. Please like, subscribe, and become a member today. You've been told by the man himself there. Get to it, everybody. Silverback with his third super chat. Thank you, mate. He says, Adam, I just hope we can get players that Ruben wants fast. That we don't players we don't gone ASAP. I'm sure there's a word mixed in there that should have been put there. I want to see efficiency so Ruben can get down to business. Yeah, we all want to see things happen quickly. And this is why it strangely feels like this time of year when we should be talking about football. And the football will come back. But have you not noticed that we're actually talking about the future and what's to come in the summer a little bit earlier than usual? Like March going into April. Obviously, we talk about transfers all year. But have you not noticed that because of the way United is right now, everyone's on a little bit more of an expectancy level as to what's to come in the summer? Obviously, I'll be all over it here on Forever United TV, bringing you completely up to date with everything. But it does seem like Manchester United are in a position where we are moving things forward a lot quicker. And actually seeing a recruitment setup in action while the season is going on, like it is at every other club in the league. Not United before, though. And that is why I think we're talking about this a lot more right now and why it's a little bit more exciting. I think 4 signings plus youth will have a chance. Let's hope 10 to 13 players get moved on so Ruben can work his magic. He will totally turn us around. In Ruben, we must, like I do, trust him. Yeah. In Ruben, we do trust. In Ruben, I think we have got a manager that gets what's needed a lot quicker than anybody else. And that's the positive to take from this. Joe Gomez was the perfect example. Scouts referred him to Erik ten Hag, his first January window, but they went to Sabitzer on loan and Wolves bought Joe Gomez. It's a good point, Danny. Actually, it's a good point. You could probably, and I'm sure everyone in the chat right now could probably pick up on, I don't know, everyone could pick up on at least one player that Manchester United have missed out on over the years that has been recommended that we didn't take, that turned out well somewhere else. There are plenty of them, aren't there? We talk about them all of the time, but that is the worry. Oh, sorry, that was the worry, and not anymore. We're not going to get everyone. We can't get everyone, obviously, but at least the names that are being brandished around are the ones that we know we can really, really get confident about is probably the right way of putting it. How we can look to them players and feel like there is a real chance that they could actually come to Manchester United. I think that is why everybody is looking at Manchester United in a completely different way. We're looking at it going, why are we actually talking about this right now? We can't sign anyone yet. And then Chelsea go out and sign 2 players. And it's like, well, yeah, we can, obviously. But I feel like Manchester United's financial situation is such that we can't really see anything cemented or concrete until players are out. I think deals are already done. I'm going to say it. I think deals are done at Manchester United. We know who we want and we know who we're getting. And in terms of prices and things like that, I think we've already got some deals in the making. Obviously, all the dotting of I's and crossing of T's has got to come and the necessaries, but I think contact's been made. I think United have been working overtime, and I think this club is going to surprise quite a lot of this fan base going into the summer. I really do. And I think there is a lot of positivity going around that people are ignoring. I really do. And I think it is just to have a bit of a moan and a bitch. Because we have had a shit season, let's be honest. And no one's hiding away from it. No one wants to. They want to hit it face on. And I think that's, again, another positive with this club right now, is that they're not ignoring how crap we are. There's no one pulling wool over anyone's eyes. Everybody knows where we stand and everybody knows what's going on at the club. I think for the first time in decades, it's not hush-hush anymore. And that's the beauty of it, I think, more than anything now. Mr. Dacia Sandero in the chat. Hello, my friend. Hope you're well. Hi, Adam. I had to Google Fernandes, 19-year-old right winger who likes to cut in on the left. 44 appearances, 5 goals for Braga this season. Don't forget the assist as well, mate. He's got a few of them. Here, his biography sounds exciting. What's the cost? Less than 20 million is his market value, mate. And you look into it. This is why United are going down these roads. They won't overspend on anybody unless it is the absolute must. And that takes us into that part of the show where we're talking about what Laurie Whitwell was talking about this morning in Manchester United's budgeting. Now, not every journalist gets absolutely everything right. We know that. But one thing that the Athletic do is do the research on to where Manchester United are actually at. If you'd just seen the graph earlier on today, well, it's different. So Manchester United are the third highest spenders on wages in the league, i.e. we've got the first highest wage bill for players in the Premier League. I think we're only behind Manchester City and I think it's Chelsea. I'm pretty certain it's Chelsea. I can't remember now. I think we're just ahead of Arsenal. But yeah, third in the league. But in terms of revenue to wage bill, as in ratio to wages to revenue, which is going to be big for Manchester United when the PSR rules change, and while we was talking confidently about everything changing for the club for the better then, which isn't until next season, sadly, because that rule was kiboshed for one more year. Well, Manchester United, I think, are third bottom when it comes to wages and revenue ratio. So how much of the club's revenue, i.e. the money that you make, is spent on wages? Manchester United are 18th in the Premier League. So we do have ample room. And when Ineos get into Manchester United's big earners this summer, and there's a lot of players out at the door, that's going to come down even more. And Manchester United's squad ratio rule, the next transfer window, that's 26-27. That is going to be a game changer for Manchester United again. If we can get this year right and position ourselves and actually get back up there, challenging, then you could see the power of Manchester United come back again. And that's only going to get more and more and more if United are competing. Because if we are, and then the new stadium comes in, United's revenues go through the roof, and this is where United have the blueprint and the foundation to dominate again. But going back to something I said earlier on in the show, it's the neglect of this football club that has killed us. It's the running of the football club. And that rope that Sir Jim Ratcliffe talks about is where Manchester United have failed. They've given too much to the management, who've lined their own pockets, who have just sleptwalked through the last decade of Manchester United and left us in this shit pot where we are right now. That's the situation at this football club. Manchester United are set up to succeed. It just needs the right people to steer the ship. Obviously, we're going to always be hampered by the debt of the Glazers. And in time, I've got no answer. I don't know. All I can answer and talk about is what is in front of us right now. The figures don't lie. Yes, we have a load of debt, but the wage structure and the way that Manchester United can come back around and start to turn a profit through running even with that debt is being shown right now. I reckon in 2 or 3 years, Manchester United should start actually making money again, which will be amazing. But it is going to be down to the recruitment side of things and making sure we don't waste money and we do recoup in terms of players that are sold on as well. Why do you think Sir Jim's talked so much about academy players being sold if they're not going to make it? It just helps, and they've just been wasted. Again, neglect in terms of the future of these academy players. All right, winning at under 18s, it looks fantastic. They're winning every single competition at under 18s level, but what about the future? Where's the planning from that moment there to the next step? We were lucky that we had Garnacho and Mainoo, who filled a couple of squad positions for Erik ten Hag, and they had decent first seasons. But still, look where they're at now, and look at the conversations that are going on. Neglect. That is the common word right now in everything that's happening at Manchester United. on Kobbie Mainoo. I'm coming back in the chat soon. Don't worry, everybody. Please keep liking the video. We're nearly at the 200 mark. You're well over halfway now, everyone. 300 is our target for the likes today. Well, we are live, everyone. So, while I'm on air, I want 300 in the bag. So, get liking the video and hit that subscribe button as well, everybody, while you're at it. Double trouble. It won't cost you anything, no. So, you might as well because it's free. Anyway, Kobbie Mainoo. I was told, and you've seen reports today on social media. If you haven't, I'll fill you in right now. So our man who has been talking to me on social media today, direct messaged me, watches the channel, watches a lot of the channel. Really appreciate it. I found out what account he actually run and what his professional account was, but it's that name. It's our friend Sully from social media, and he said it's okay for me to mention his name actually on the show, so it's the only reason I am doing. But he's messaged me tonight and he's just said what is going on, and there are a lot of stories going out in mainstream media that are complete bull. And that's his words, not mine. He's posted it, he's tweeted it, so there's no issue in me actually saying this right now because he's also posted it out on his account as well. But do go give him a follow as well because he has got some good inside information, aspiring journalist coming through, and he has been right with everything that he said so far regarding the injury side of things. You would have seen the pictures of Aiden Heaven wearing that protective boot again. Look, boots come on and off. I wouldn't stress about it too much. It isn't a break. It isn't anything serious, but you have to make sure that you make everything... sorry, wrong word there. You have to be 100% certain that everything is working right. And that's the word coming out on Aiden Heaven. Kobbie Mainoo. Now, he is coming back from injury. He has trained on grass. He isn't going to be available for Nottingham Forest. By the way, out of all the returning players, the only player that will have a chance, in fact, has got a very good chance of featuring in the matchday squad on Tuesday night, is Harry Maguire. He is back and fit and playing, and that is the only player that could feature. So the others are back training, but not fully ready. Mason Mount, obviously, is another player because we've seen he was on the bench against Leicester. So he's had another 2 weeks training. Being told no reoccurrence of any issues at all. A good update on Lenny Yoro also. Not on grass yet, Lenny Yoro. The only one not on grass now. The story on Luke Shaw going off to Dubai is to try and speed up the process for him. A lot of fans would have been knocked off that Luke Shaw again. He's not featured for over a year, started, as I should say, and he's off to Dubai. I can see how it would piss fans off. I can. I get it. I do. Like, seriously, like we're now paying for him to go over and have a mini holiday. It's not a mini holiday. It is purely down to warm weather training. A lot of players do it. I think United fans are getting a little bit miffed off because it's Luke Shaw and he's not available. And now he's sunning it up in Dubai, training. It's a great life, innit? When you're earning that amount of money. I know. I'm just filling you in on what's happening there. But Kobbie Mainoo, training won't be available for Nottingham Forest. Kobbie Mainoo wants to stay at Manchester United, though. And yeah, you can look at all of the information that's out there. You can look at what's been leaked. You can look at what the club has said. You can look at what the journalists have all said. And you can surmise what you want from it. And you could say that there's a chance that Kobbie Mainoo would leave Manchester United. Yeah, there is. There's a very good chance. It's like Rob Dawson from ESPN coming out the other day and saying that Andre Onana will only leave Manchester United if Ruben Amorim says he's going to bring in another goalkeeper. That usually is the case for someone leaving. Talk about hedging bets. And Stephen Railsford of the MEN, Samuel Luckhurst, Ty Marshall, I know all of them, all great to talk to, all great journalists, but sometimes their information is not bang on the money. Like, I'll read it out and I'm not right half the time, so I'm like that as well. I just read through and go into depth as much as I can to try and make sure that we get the best information and get talking about that on our shows. But the story that came out in the MEN regarding Kobbie Mainoo actually being able to leave Manchester United, of course, he can go whenever he wants if someone wants to sign him and the club are happy with the deal. And there is a good chance that he could leave if he doesn't sign a contract. Of course, there is. That's inevitable. But the word coming out from Kobbie Mainoo's camp is that he wants to stay at Manchester United. And that's come from Kobbie Mainoo himself. He wants to stay at Manchester United. which is great news. It's a fantastic news because we want our academy players to flourish. We don't want to have to sell them to make quick, easy money. And Ruben himself has said the same thing. He understands the benefit of academy players being sold, but the best ones he would like to keep and nurture. Look, I don't see where Kobbie Mainoo fits in a Ruben Amorim system. I don't think he's a guaranteed starter. Can he get better? Of course he can. And if Ruben thinks he can get better and he's got the right attitude, I back Ruben Amorim. I back him over anybody else. Look, if Kobbie wants 180 grand a week, then he can do one. I've said this as well. He's not worth that. And I don't know if it's him himself or the agent that's pushing this. And I've always backed it up by saying, look, it could be the club leaking it out. It could be the agent leaking it out. It could be the whole transfer or renegotiation of a contract in overdrive, except instead of it being behind the scenes, it's out there for everybody to read and look at and watch. So that, I think, is where we're at with the Kobbie Mainoo situation right now. He wants to stay at United. He wants to sign a new deal at United, but he has to fall in line with the wage structure with everybody else at the football club. He will be. I don't think he warrants being the highest paid youngster at Manchester United. And youngster, I'm talking 22. Like we cut it off at Rasmus Højlund, say. He's on. I think he's only on about 75 grand, to be honest. The highest paid youngster at Manchester United is Ahmad. He's on 120, followed by Yoro. Then you've got the likes of Rasmus Højlund and Garnacho, and then it's Kobbie Mainoo. When you're going down the pecking order, and Aiden Heaven even lower than him. But there, and you could even bring in Patrick Dorgu into that equation, who's on 45 grand a week reportedly. So, yeah, I do think that a deal will be made. I think it will be in line with Lenioro and Ahmad Diallo. I think that's where Kobbie Mainoo is going to fall in terms of his new wage or contract that he's bringing. 28 more subscribers away from 75k, everyone. So if you are tuning in and watching, welcome. You're more than welcome. You can't get your comments in, though, unless you're subscribed. It is a subscriber-only live chat, so you can obviously comment after the show, but why not just subscribe and be part of the journey with us? It's going to be a very, very busy summer, and I'll be here, there, bleeding everywhere, giving you all of the up-to-date information as always. So you might as well just get hitting that subscribe button and be part of it. I'm coming into the chat now. Let's just see. Drop an Anna when Baynder is back for the rest of the season to show he's not first choice anymore, says M.A. Could be. We might see. Like, Ruben's not scared of making big decisions. Robaz says, Tyler Diblin, 100 million. How much Mainoo should be? 300 million. Mainoo, definitely 3 times Diblin. Look, different types of player, I would feel, when you're arguing that point. I think that's fair. Yeah, different type of player, but still, it's all what someone will pay for a player. That's all it is. Southampton and Romano was talking earlier on today. Southampton actually said, look, Manchester United see Diblin as the ideal signing. They want him, but they will not pay that money. 100 million. And even Romano was saying that is using that figure as well. 100 million. Financial fair play won't allow it. No, it bleeding won't. Even if there was no financial fair play, we wouldn't allow it. Southampton feel like Diblin is one of the best prospects out there in world football right now. He's not worth 40 million. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Because he's unproven. And you cannot charge that much for unproven players. You cannot. Not at teenage level anyway. You have to be the ultimate. You have to be a Cristiano, a Lionel Messi, a Wayne Rooney, a Kylian Mbappe. You have to be one of these types of players to warrant that type of money. I'm sorry, no. We talked about it last night. It's definitely a no-go. United won't be going near Diblin. I don't think many clubs will be going near Diblin at that price, to be honest. I really don't. 225 likes in. You're getting closer. 75 to go, everyone. Like it. Get going on it. Grab Stilimani for half that price. Well, no, because they've priced him. Oh, no, Suleimani, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I was getting mixed up with Semenya then. Modern Samurai. Yeah, Semenya's a £70 million player. God, that's why I did the Dusan Vlahovic video this morning, because he could be available for 35 at 25 years old. We're getting Premier League players that have only had one season getting quoted more than Osimhen and Victor Gyökeres. that are smashing it at Champions League level and other European levels. It's crazy, isn't it, the transfer market? It really is. Where are we all at, by the way, with this new transfer window announcement as well? So we're going to be having a closed transfer window on the 1st of September. That's the same, normal as it would. They were trying to get it to shut sooner, but they've kept it in line with the rest of Europe, to be fair. Fair dues. I get it. I understand it. So August is going to be absolutely off the scale mental. Prepare yourselves for an absolute epic summer. That's all I'm saying right now. In terms of the start date, though, so they're opening the transfer window up on the 1st of June for the Club World Cup teams. So that's open because of the Club World Cup. I think it's up, and I've not read enough on this. I'm going to be totally brutally honest with you right now. I was looking at other United news today, and if it's open to the rest of the league, then fair enough. If it is just the World Club Cup teams, which I don't think it is, if it is, it's ludicrous, then Chelsea and Manchester City are really taking advantage of the rest of the league with that. It really is a joke. But, yeah, opens up on the 1st of June, then closes on the 10th, then reopens on the 16th of June. So what that 6 days does, I don't know. Like, what's a week in a transfer window? It's ludicrous. You might as well just keep it open all the way through. Stupid is what that is. Absolutely stupid. But I look at it and go, well, if they can buy players, surely everyone else can buy players. The 1st of June, by the way, is earlier than the PSR books in terms of filing your finances for the financial year. So the 30th of June is when is when you have to hand in your finances for PSR. And now all of a sudden we're opening the transfer window a little bit sooner. So teams could actually sell and do business to fall in line with PSR and financial fair play because the window's opening earlier. That is the intriguing part in all of this. And what all it's going to do is make it a June, July and August extravaganza of all sorts of deals. Now, I've said this before. Financial fair play and PSR are pushing all of the big clubs into the younger, unknown markets because they're trying to find players that they have got future value in. Look at the structuring of contracts and what big teams are doing right now. You only have to look at City's and Chelsea's long-term contracts. They feel like they've figured out the loophole within this system and what can and can't be done and achieved. And I think they're going to push on that side of it. Everyone else will have their own way of making this work for them. And I don't know. I don't know if opening this transfer window is going to open up another can of worms in the transfer market. But it is all to do with the Club World Cup. That's the only reason why we are opening it up a little bit sooner. But I said it before. If you win that Club World Cup and you bring in another 100 million for winning it before that financial year ends, it is a disadvantage because this is only just coming now. And I suppose a competition has to start at some point, but it's just fallen into Chelsea's and Manchester City's laps here. And I'm telling you right now, this is why they've been able to spend the money that they have been, because they knew that this Club World Cup was coming, and FIFA were telling them that FIFA are taking no money out of this at all for themselves. It's all about creating this mini Super League. And the more money going through UEFA because of the Champions League expansion, and now more money coming out of FIFA, who are taking nothing from this competition, by the way. They're making zero profit out of the Club World Cup. That's been said as rubber stamped. It's all going to the clubs. This is to counteract the Super League. More money from FIFA, more money from UEFA, coming together with all the best teams in Europe, making sure that they stay put on where they are. That's how you make your multi-millions. But the players are going to have to work harder and play even more. That's the get out for the Super League. I'm telling you right now, that's where they're actually at with it. There was an interesting story. We're getting closer to the verdict when it comes to Manchester City's case, by the way. And I know there are probably some City fans that watch this show, but there is a really interesting piece that has come out from The Athletic today. Just a second, because my computer isn't loading up for some strange reason. But in the case of Manchester City, by the way, if you see it, New York Times, alongside The Athletic, Jacob Whitehead, this is just the headline of this story. The mysterious person X at the heart of the Premier League legal battle with Manchester City is Jabbar Mohammed, who was at the time a key aide to Abu Dhabi's ruler MBZ. So, senior aide of Abu Dhabi Crown Prince was the mystery £30 million broker in the investigation Manchester City's sponsorship deal. Ooh, interesting read. We haven't got time to go through it now on the show, but I've seen it pop up before. I will be all over that, reading into that and what's actually gone down there. But again, smells like something fishy there, doesn't it, in terms of what's actually going on. And yeah, interesting sort of timing, because we are about to hear about the ruling, and we're getting the verdicts very soon, aren't we, from the City 115 case. So this is going to be absolute mega breaking news when it comes about. Be really interesting to see exactly what he said. Just on that news that I talked about earlier on in terms of Manchester United and our situation right now, the debt is killing us. Yes, it is. But the finances overall, after Ineos will be finished with them after this summer, the Premier League's total wage bills, starting from top to bottom, basically, Manchester City's wage bill is £412 million a season. Liverpool's 386, Manchester United is 364. That probably would come down lower than Arsenal's and Chelsea's, who are 4th and 5th respectively on 337 and 327. Then there's a big drop off to Aston Villa on 256. The interesting stat in all of this, though, is how much of them wages cover the actual revenues of the clubs. And it is an eye-opener. It really is. For instance, Manchester United are 18th, like I said, below Arsenal and Spurs. Ahead of Arsenal and Spurs, who are second, bottom and bottom. That is because of the big stadiums. The revenues that these clubs actually bring in. That ultimately is why Manchester United are in the positive, really, when it comes to the wage structure at the football club. Now that it's getting even better, Manchester United should be able to take advantage of that new PSR rule in a year's time. And that's what I just wanted to bring up right there. Top of the tree in terms of Premier League spend over turnover ratio. So the Premier League's clubs' wages to turnover ratio. Leicester City are top of that league at 116%. That tells you why they were struggling with financial fair play and were very, very close. By the way, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, the amount of money they make, 94 and 96% of that goes out of the club in wages. United, 55% of the revenues are taken away by wages. So we're almost half at that halfway point, which is something that David Gill always tried to keep Manchester United in line with. So when we're looking at big wages and what's happened before, United have still been in amongst it and well run on that side of things. So yeah, let's look at that. Right, looking at everything here, just going through anything else that might have come up over the last couple of hours. And yeah, not much going on at all. I think we've pretty much covered everything there, everyone. But yeah, again, let's get into some comments quickly, though, before we do finish up. Give you your chance to have your say. Loads coming in here right now. Loads by the man himself, Modern Samurai. Absolute legend. Thank you, buddy. Keep them coming in. We have got another super chat in the house as well. That's come from Desiree again, who says, will Onana go? Because I'm praying for that. Yes is the word right now. Onana will be out of Manchester United come the end of this season. And we are going to be looking at a new goalkeeper coming in. That, I think, we covered that this morning. I think that will be, again, like we've covered the right wing-back situation tonight. We went with the number 9 and the goalkeeping situation this morning. I think that's where we're actually at with it. I think we will be seeing a keeper, a 9, a right wing-back, and an 8 coming in. And what happens with the 10s, I don't know. All depends on who is sold out of Manchester United. But just on that wage bill there, it said there, like 55%. Manchester United, when you look at it, and just that wage bill for United, which is 364 million a year, you think the players that are leaving Manchester United, that could come down. That could come down by about 40 million going into this summer. And that's with players coming in as well, if this recruitment drive goes the way that we're thinking it's going to go. So people are always saying to me, like, yeah, the wages are going to be off the bill, Adam, but someone else has still got to come in his place. Yeah, but when you're bringing a player who's on half the wages that the player who's leaving is left, then... Sorry, I said that completely wrong. When a player coming in is on half the wages of the player leaving, then you can see how Manchester United's plan going forward in sort of streamlining the finances and the books is going to work. It all depends where that money's invested, though. Are Ineos in power enough to say, look, whatever money we make is going to go into the football side of it, like Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said? And that's when the book will fall on Sir Jim. If the money doesn't get spent, because they will be all too willing to tell us exactly how much money's been saved and what they've done. That, for me, is where it's really going to be ultimate critique on Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because he's the one in charge of that. If he is saying that he's going to put the Manchester United at the front of every single discussion from the football side of things, and then all of a sudden we're saving all this money, but nothing's being invested back into Manchester United, then the ultimate questions are going to come then, aren't they? It's like, right, you really are just funding the Glazers right now, aren't you? We'll see. We will see in time. And that won't come until we start to invest in players coming into Manchester United. And we will see how many players actually do walk through the door as well. Adam, take away rumours. Who are you expected signings? Who are you expected signings this summer? A keeper, it could be any one of them. Senny Lamens does look like a safe bet for Manchester United right now. Well, Chevalier is also on the cards as well. I think United will get one of Osimhen, Delap, or David. I do. I think there will be a younger player coming in from the Championship. It could be any one of the ones that we've been looking at. I think there will be a right wing-back coming in. I think it will be Fernandes. I think that looks like a surefire thing for Manchester United right now. And I think the rest is a surprise. 4 players that will go right into Manchester United's first team. That's my bet. I said this last night, but I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. United will be bringing in 4 players that go into the starting 11 at the start of next season. I reckon there'll be another 3 signings that just go into the squad as well. I really do. Let's not forget, we have bought 3 already under Ruben Amorim, which is Diego Leon, which is Aidan Heaven, and Patrick Dorgu. Obviously, all defenders, but we are stacked going into the season. Whether you think it's quality enough is up to you. But Manchester United feel like the characteristics and the players that we have brought in are the right ones for this football club, and we will see in time. We are just under 1,000 people in the room. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the show. Please give the video a like. We're about to hit that 300 live like mark, which I begged, stealed and borrowed to get over the line from you guys. Thank you so much for putting the effort in to try and get us there. I think we will get there before the show finishes. Big thank you to all of the mods in the chat. Stu's there. Great. Modern Samurai. We Can Compete, obviously, as well. I think there's a few others in there as well. I'm just going to double check now just to make sure on this. Yeah, quite a few of them in there. Tom in there as well, yeah. I'm sorry if I missed anybody out. Thank you for all the contributions as well. Big shout out to Block. I don't think he's been in the chat this evening, but he was the chap that donated £300 in a super chat earlier on this morning. Absolute legend. What a guy. Absolutely mega effort from him. And everybody else as well who has contributed over the last few days. Please do get your views in. There's more people watching my Old Trafford video right now, which is the future of Old Trafford. It's starting to gather momentum again now. Go watch it, everybody. If you haven't already, I implore you. It's on the videos on the channel where I will be sat in 5 years' time. The video of everything in and around Old Trafford. And just go and watch that, because it does open your eyes to what is actually happening to Old Trafford. Make sure that you please subscribe as well. It's important for the channel. that we do get the subscribers up. We have grown quite an audience and quite a community here on FUTV. I just want to say again, it's been one of them days where you sort of do appreciate a lot the effort that the mods are putting in, the appreciation with donations from a lot of people as well in the live chats. Thank you, everyone. I will be back tomorrow morning. It's Friday. I'm expecting a press conference quite soon. It's going to be weird. It feels like it's been a bleeding age. Well, Friday is here, people. The weekend is here. The Premier League is back this weekend. The FA Cup is back this weekend. It's going to be a busy old time on FUTV and Football Talks, our other channel. Go subscribe to that one as well. All the links are in the description for everything. If you want to support the channel in any way, go check out all the links. Thank you, everybody. You're all legends. I will see you all in the morning. Have a great evening.